Hell, I am here with the one and only, the very polarizing figure. You either like him or you love him, one or the other. And you know who he is, Rich Morgan. You've been away for 9 months. You're in the new studio. What's your first impressions, Rich?
I was very, very impressed. The first time I saw this, walking through the doors, I think I told you this earlier, that it was like driving into Pittsburgh, you're going through a tunnel and then bang, it hits you. And it truly is, in the 40 years that I've worked here, this is the most impressive studio that we've had. And from what I see on the air, it really is the easiest to work with too.
What about the chairs? What do you think of these
The
chairs?
chairs,
Nice
we
and
always had
comfortable.
dark colored
Bulky
chairs.
yeah.
But to see something with color like this, I mean, and it really does. I
Get
think
your
that,
juices back, maybe.
yeah,
huh?
oh, only for so long. And
Oh,
then I
okay.
think about getting up at 2:15 in the morning, and I got, nah.
Well, now you're getting into my questions, because my first question, which everyone asks me about you, what have you been up to in the past 9 months?
I've been so busy that I can't figure out why it is. It just kept rolling and rolling. March 1st was the last time I heard an alarm clock. Have never set one again. Wake up naturally at 5 a.m. and I usually go running. First thing, if it's too cold, I go walking outside. Eat a leisurely breakfast. Unlike when I was working here, it would take me 2 hours to eat breakfast because I just take a bite and then have to run in here to do the weather. Right. So after that, once I walk out the door, whatever I see, I can turn left, right, or I'm involved with our St. Luke choir, also St. Luke Vincent de Paul Society, Knights of Columbus, Holy Name. There's all kinds of different things that I've been involved in and just enjoyed doing them. Recently for Christmas, we were making kolache. And no, I did not.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I did the heavy
watched
work. Yes,
people make
they made it, and then I took it from the oven and helped cool it off. So, you know, any of you bought it, don't worry, I didn't actually touch the kolache.
All right. Now, how long did it take you to break your morning routine? You know, like when in news business, it takes, 2 or 3 days, we're working 2 or 3 different schedules.
Right.
You had a long schedule. Or are you still on that morning schedule?
See, and that's what I liked about my schedule is I worked mornings and had worked mornings for 27 years. Of course, it got earlier each year because we went from a half hour in the beginning to 2 hours, and then when I finally left, 4 hours.
They extended it to 2 hours.
Yeah, it was crazy. But it was no problem because what happened was when I would finally get to a weekend, I would naturally wake up at 5 o'clock. And the reason being is I wake up at 5 and I'm thinking, I got to get moving here. I got a lot to do into a smaller amount of time. You want to squeeze so much into a day on a Saturday and then on a Sunday. So I was naturally waking up at 5, and once I hit my first day of retirement, I woke up at 5 and I read a book, Tom Brady, the quarterback. He says he sticks, he's not a really well-known one, but I think this works for him. He wrote a book, and he talks about how you should keep a schedule of waking up and going to bed 7 days a week. This guy's making all kinds of money. His wife's a big star and everything. You think they'd be going out to parties? Doesn't do that. Wow. So I wake up at 5. If I want to sleep in, I can sleep in until 6 maybe at the most. And then I go to bed at 9 o'clock. So now I've been watching a lot of football, okay? I see it on Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. But when 9 o'clock hits, Cavaliers are playing or something, I go to bed. I'm sorry. They can continue to play. I can find out the next day
Your
whether
halftime
one or a
fade.
lot. Yeah. So, yeah.
They usually do good at halftime. The Cavs do.
Yeah, when they're resting. Yeah, they're doing great at that point.
All right. So now, which went faster? Your last year of broadcasting, your whirlwind tour, or the past 9 months?
I really lost track of the last 9 months because I was out riding my bike at Mill Creek Park the one day, and I'm thinking, gee, how long have I been retired? And I'm riding along, and I'm just sort of thinking, and I'm counting, and I'm thinking, 6 months. 6 months at that point, because it wasn't winter yet, and I could ride my bike in Mill Creek Park. that went by amazingly fast, and I thought, and I've been busy because I've been doing something that I really like. I can remember doing the weather here, and during the morning I'd step outside and I think, why can't I just stay out here? I'm looking at the moon. I can see Saturn in the sky. I'd like to go running, you know. Now I can do that. Right. And I've spent a lot more time outdoors like I'd like to. And that part I really do enjoy.
Okay. Now, you already kind of answered one of my questions here. You're still running.
Yes.
Any secrets to how many miles, how many days a week?
I usually shoot for 6 days a week.
Okay.
But if it's 5, it's 5, you know, and usually my plan is to go at least 3 miles because a 5K is 3.2 miles, you know. So that way you're in shape for a 5K. But I had a little problem this year. They named me ambassador for the Youngstown Peace Race, 45th anniversary. I was all excited. I thought, oh boy, I'm the ambassador, right? 2 weeks before that, I'm training in Mill Creek Park, and I tripped on some little stump or something, landed right on my right knee. Felt fine at first, and then as the week went on, I was sore and sore. So I did not run the Peace Race this year, all years, 45th anniversary. I thought I'd be running it. Instead, I'm standing at the finish line watching people come in. That's annoying, folks. You don't want to do that. If you run the Peace Race each year, you don't even want to run the 2 mile. You want to run the full Peace Race no matter how long it takes you, because it's satisfying to finish and say to yourself, I finished, you know, I did the Peace Race.
So no training for the 46th Peace Race, right?
Well,
or no
once
tripping.
we get past, well, there's usually a race in March.
Okay.
Okay. That starts the season at Mill Creek Park, and that'll start the training for the rest of the season.
Okay. Well, good luck there.
Looking
I actually
forward
thought
to
about doing this interview while we were running, but I'd be done after probably about 3 questions.
Oh, well, okay.
But yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
I don't like running in the cold that much anyway. So.
Two-part question, and you've answered some of this off air, but what do you miss and what don't you miss about getting up and working at work?
Well, there you hit it right on the head. I don't miss getting up at 2:15. People would say, you've been doing it 27 years. Oh, you're probably used to it. You don't get used to these hours, folks. I'm sorry. This is a strange shift. And to think I started, you know, we were on from 6:30 to 7 to start 27 years ago, and then it got earlier and earlier. No, never got used to it. What I did start doing is I started going to bed earlier. I started going to bed at about 8 o'clock, and then 7:30, then 7. By the time we were down to the last few months of my reign here, 6:30 I was going to bed.
Those are Amish hours.
Oh,
there.
gosh.
As soon as it's getting
dark.
dark.
It was like I had a horse and buggy, and I worked out on the farm, and yeah, and I never saw television or something like that. Yeah, so yeah, that I don't miss. What I do miss though is, and you know, and I've gotten it from the comments from the people that I see every day who, just today somebody said, Rich, I've always wanted to meet you. You've been on how many years? I've never met you before. And I'm thinking, you always wanted to meet me. Now there is a compliment, you know? And those are the kind of things that thankfully people still do. I miss coming up with some different things to talk about during the weather. If it's just talking about the full moon and explaining how Native Americans came up with the name of the full moon, or coming up with some kind of activity, running in the park or something like that. There are so many great things like the giant pumpkin way off and things that I would include. Mentioning that kind of stuff and doing interviews, not being on this side of the interview. This is the tough part. Being on the other side, being prepared to ask questions and see what the answer is, and then listen to the person and see what I can ask from what they said. That was the challenge.
I'm gonna have to write that down. Okay, one of your many gifts that you got in your whirlwind tour was the tickets to go see Tony Bennett, okay? And I'm sure you enjoyed that.
Oh my, yes.
So what else have you been doing concert-wise, event-wise, that maybe can compare to that? I mean, if you want to answer how the concert was, I haven't yet to read a bad review about Tony Bennett. He's a guy he's been around for a long time, but everybody seems to say, I can't believe the age of the guy, what kind of show he puts on.
He's in his 90s, yeah. And that was the favorite concert of this year. And thanks to WKBN for providing me with the tickets. I guess I made it pretty clear that I wanted to see that show on the air enough times. So yeah, and he was excellent. I mean, I just sat there and took it. I closed my eyes at times just to listen to his voice. And my buddy that came with me, we both were big Tony Bennett fans. And it was a little bit frightening, though. He is getting older. And there were like 3 times where it looked like he almost tripped. And I thought, I don't want to be at Tony Bennett's last concert. You know, I was a little bit worried about that. But okay, that was the best concert. But then something unusual happened. The Youngstown Symphony. I got to see them with my wife twice in about a 2-week period. The first time was when they appeared at St. Patrick's Church in Youngstown, which is a beautiful church. I had no idea what the acoustics were like there. They put the Youngstown Symphony in there on the altar, and they did probably, well, this is the first symphony piece that I ever became acquainted with as a child and enjoyed it. It's Aaron Copland's Appalachian Spring. And Randall Craig Flasher came up with a piece of trivia about the title, and I'm not telling you. You're going to have to look it up to find out about Appalachian Spring. It's an interesting story with that. But that part was excellent. And then he brought a friend of his who was a female opera singer who did 5 songs with the symphony. Wow. That was an unbelievable evening. And then, after that, friends of ours gave us 2 tickets to go to see the symphony when they did this series on Brahms. Brandenburg Suites, it was called. And they had the old style instruments like a harpsichord. They had different types of violins and things. We were up in the balcony, and to watch them playing these instruments and to hear that sound, I've read that these are probably the best examples of Baroque music. And after I heard those songs, I thought, you know what? I've heard bits and pieces of this, never knew what it was. But that Monday, I went to the Youngstown Public Library and made sure to get a copy of the Brandenburg Suites by the Brahms pieces, because it is just such a beautiful piece of music. So those would be my second and third choices for favorite concerts this year. Okay. And you know how much I like music, but we really haven't had a chance to go to a lot of stuff. I'd like to go see in the New Year the Doobie Brothers. It's going to be the grand reunion because Michael McDonald is going to tour with them as well. Okay.
All right. We'll see what we can do.
Hint, hint. I'm not hitting for more free tickets. Yeah, right.
Okay. Any, this is one of these basic questions. Any new interests, any hobbies, any back burner items that you had on the back burner for 27 years? You said, you know what, I retired. I'm going to go fly fishing. I'm going to write poetry for dummies. Anything like that, or you just didn't go to work?
I think you're you're overdoing it here. You thought I was planning for this.
I
have no idea what this was going to be like. In the first day of retirement, my wife had seen something in our church bulletin about the St. Vincent de Paul Society and how they were serving at the lunch thing at St. Cyril and Methodius Church. And I thought, you know, that's something I've wanted to do for years. I went to do that, and that led to my friends saying, well, you know, we're looking for new members, so we don't just want you as a volunteer. So I ended up joining that organization, and now I'm vice president of it for a couple of years here. So that's something I'm working on. One of the things we did, and it was sort of, I don't say that we were planning it, but we've wanted to go back to Europe. So we decided to go to Italy. And we saw Rome and Florence, and then several cities outside of Florence. And no matter how much I planned for it and read ahead, I had no idea what we were going to see. The food was excellent. And the big thing about Italian food in Italy, at least in that part of Italy, which pleased me a lot, there was little, if any, garlic. Garlic bothers me, folks. I'm sorry. I know you are out there. My wife grows garlic and everything, all right? And she plants it by the light of the full moon or whatever. But it bothers me. And there, everything, I mean, even though there wasn't that garlic taste, oh my gosh.
Good.
The taste was great. And to see some of these things that I've only seen on television, going to the Vatican and everything, it was truly a wonderful vacation. And I got to run over there, too, in the morning.
Yeah. You didn't bring any garlic back with you, did you?
Obviously not. Oh, gosh, no.
We found something Rich does not like.
Yeah, that is hard to believe, isn't it?
Getting close. We're going to wrap it up here pretty soon. We have to, right? Any sage advice you're ready to pass along to slightly younger people like myself or any of the younger staff that we have here?
You know, I guess you have to stay in the moment here. Enjoy this, because it goes by so fast. I was so worried at first during the first years of, many, many years.
First decades.
Of of doing things a certain way, of looking up all this information to pass along to the viewers and everything like that. And I was missing a lot of the stuff that people now come up to me and say, hey, Rich, remember when you did this? Remember when you went to this? Remember when you were in the lumberjack competition in New Springfield and things like that. And some of this stuff I've forgotten about because I was so wrapped up in doing things and working 6 days a week and trying to get everything done. But here's one thing I will tell you that's especially exciting to us, because my wife and I are going to become grandparents next year. And so our son and his wife are going to have a little boy who's going to be named after my father and me and my son. So we've got another Richard.
Oh. And are you going to be Grandpa, Gramps?
Whatever that child,
name picked out?
I'm going to work as soon as I get my hands on that child. You know, I'll have a conversation and I'll just keep on saying, Grandpa, Grandpa's here. Grandfather, what's easiest for you? Grandpa, grandfather? You know, I just keep repeating it, and hopefully
that'll be his first words.
Yeah.
Well, that is actually some great news here. Maybe not breaking news but I'm sure it is for a lot of people out there. But congratulations.
Well, especially the people that have followed me. And when I first was on in the morning, talked about my son and the little things he would do as he was growing up. You got to a certain age, and I stopped doing that because I didn't want to embarrass him anymore.
And now he is grown up.
Oh, it definitely is.
All right. I have a pizza parlor. You get to choose the pizza, the crust, and the sauce.
Oh,
and what's playing on the jukebox as we wrap this up?
Well, if nothing else, there's only one pizza place in this town. It was the first one, Elmton Pizza. When I was doing the Money movie, somebody called up and said, okay, I know you like pizza. What would you like on your pizza? They brought me a large Elmton pizza. And I said, all I like pizza. I want the cheese and I have sauce and a thick crust. Those are the three most important things. So Elmton Pizza, Gianna's chocolate,
little Handel's ice cream.
And the Gianna's chocolate is rum raisin. Gotta have that. Ice cream is Handel's ice cream. They have rum raisin too, but they also have red skies at night. That's my personal flavor. Not that I don't like grape. Oh, their grape is excellent. Their banana is like eating a banana. You know, food, we could go on talking forever.
Who sang Red Skies at Night?
You mean the Platters?
Oh, that's the
I'm going back to the 50s, yeah. That's Red Sails in the Sunset, yeah. As far as on the jukebox, that's what you brought me up to. Oh, boy. My favorite album this year was the Black Keys, Go.
Okay.
I mean, I'm always disappointed since the Beatles. It's like nobody can put together a complete album of song after song after song that I can sit and just listen to. The Black Keys did it. Go is a wonderful album for this year.
The word album is gone from the vocabulary.
Well, no, but they still call them an album.
Oh, they do, yeah.
But it's a CD, actually. Yeah.
All right. Well, as we wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year 2020. We just wanted to appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you very much for asking me.
Some time out of your
I'm glad you're
schedule.
interested in finding out what I'm doing.
And that, folks, is a day in the life of Richard Morgan.
And when you see me out there, make sure you come up to me and say hello and I'm happy. I got time to talk. I'm retired.
And I know the guy. Merry Christmas.